Is there anything that has happened over the last couple of weeks in regards to recruiting? Of course, the on the field has been sterling, but in regards to recruiting, any commitment updates? Not necessarily, we know that they haven't received any commitment updates, but any dates that have been set or any news?
Yeah, man, just a lot of the follow the visits type things. You know what I mean? Um, Miami is one of the hot names in the world of recruiting right now. And this is the thing we've been saying. If you give people a reason to believe or, that, or give them a little bit of proof that Miami is winning, all of a sudden, everybody and their mama wants to come down. So, Cannon Pickett, who's the cousin of DJ Pickett, who's the cousin of freshman defensive end Booker Pickett, 4-star offensive tackle. He was at the beatdown in the swamp when, we were dapping everybody up after the game and scoring touchdowns and yada, yada, yada. He immediately came down last week for a game. He was like, hold on now. Wait a minute. I came to Florida expecting to see that. I need to go to the U because, uncle played at the U, family, cousins at the U right now. Like, I came over here for this. Nah. Let me go see what that's about immediately. Right? DJ Pickett himself is like, yo, I committed to LSU because I had questions about Miami. And in the opener against Florida, they showed me everything that I needed to see. Like, yo, then you got, wide receivers. There were two names that were on my mind. They're 2026 kids. And it's going to elude me now because I glanced at it for a second and I didn't internalize it, which is unlike me. But if I go to, so there's a 5-star running back from Chaminade who's in the 26 class. So Jabari Brady, from Pompano, Monarch. He's a guy that, is trending towards Miami, 6'2", 185. Derek Cooper, that's his name, from Chaminade, listed as a 5-star athlete, but he plays running back. He's another guy, that's trending heavily towards Miami. Justice Fitzpatrick, Minka Fitzpatrick, younger brother, I do believe, who's at St. Thomas Aquinas. That's another name that's popped up. I already told you about Jesus, the Pickett kid. So like there are a lot of guys who are like, hey man, let me go see what they're talking about. And I think that there's going to be even more who continue to visit through this season. And, I'm working on a piece / take, but I'm interested to see what the ratio will be of commits today versus players who sign. Because I have a feeling, shout out to the Black Eyed Peas, that there's going to be some upgrading happening in this class. And just like I've told you before, Miami is a school that will and has go get coaches and coordinators and whomever up off of their good jobs. Mario and staff, they will go get your recruits up off of them. They like you mess around, and I mean, people in the industry have known this for years. You have Rusty Manziel, I believe he tweeted it last year and the year before, or he posted it on his 247 site. He's like, you do not want to be heads up against Miami going to signing day. You don't want to do it, and it'll be really interesting. Like there's already a great group of guys committed in this class, but with everybody who's visiting, all of the chatter, I mean, guys, again, invoking the name of Miami when being asked open-endedly, how's your recruitment? I see that you're committed to insert school here. How's it going? Yeah, man, I'm fully committed to LSU, Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, whomever. But damn, I don't know. Miami, they caught my attention early. You're hearing a lot of that. So it'll be really, really interesting. I think that this staff is going to be able to leverage the early success on the field in, infinitely better ways than other staffs that we've had recently. Just harken back to 2017 when I know for a fact and have seen the text messages that multiple All-Americans were trying to come visit Miami. during that 10-0 run. And Mark Richt and staff, they had a choice. They said, do we kind of play Solomon and split the baby and recruit hard right now and try to prepare? Or do we not? And they said, nah, we're going to focus on this undefeated season, hopefully getting towards the playoff. And we're not going to go through this. So, like, I hear you. We're going to keep talking to you, emailing, calling, but I know you want to come in. I know you want to visit. I know that you're thinking about flipping right now, but we're going to slow play that because we're focusing on the field. Then you lose to Pittsburgh and and that very, very, very fleetingly small window left. Mario Cristobal and company will not miss a window, no matter how small it may be. So I'm really excited for the names that I've seen and heard as being connected to Miami, having visited Miami, and the prospect of future recruiting success down the line if this season plays out the way that I think it can.
So I realize it's easy for me to sit here and make a judgment call or make a statement of, I would have done this, because especially when you deal with people and relationships, it's complicated. Everybody's different. Every situation's different. There are trends. There are things that you should learn from situation to situation, but everyone's different. Could their sales pitch back in 2017 not been, think about this, once you come on board with us, once you are a Cane, we are going to give you and your team the attention that we are giving this season right now. And we're not going to be dividing our time chasing 17-year-old recruits, but we're going to give you that attention. So bear with us. Watch what we're doing on the field. We're going to stay in contact, and we're going to bring it home, and you're going to be the beneficiary of this type of mentality in the future.
The only way that works is if you keep winning, but then you lose on Black Friday at noon at Pittsburgh. That's the thing. Like, you gotta, like, yeah, I disagreed with it at the time. I wrote it, I said it on here, but like, yes, that is the view of like, hey, we hear you, but we're about championships here. So we're gonna really lean on that. We're gonna keep those lines of communication. And there were multiple guys who were committed to and went to other schools, right? So you have that little window of like, okay, we can, pry you away from your prior commitment, and then you lose, all bets are off. You know what I mean? You want to go ask the head cheerleader prom and everything, and then that's the day that you spill chocolate milk all over yourself in the hallway between second and third period or whatever, and then you go over, you try to go up to Shorty in chemistry class, like, but like, nah. But yesterday, I was smelling good, looking fly. The day before that, you saw me at track practice. The day before that, yeah, but you ain't talked to her the day you was smelling good, looking fly. You ain't go up to her, muscles glistening after you ran 400. Hey, what's up, girl? Nah, you decided to go up to her after you didn't spill chocolate milk on yourself, right? That's what it is, bro. You missed that. Those 2 days, that was the window. It could have possibly happened. I know that she's dating Johnny the quarterback, but like, yo, you had that chance. And you went and said, nah, I'm going to wait till this specific day at this specific time. It's Valentine's Day. Chorus has serenades. God, I missed that day. Yeah, I already bought a special song. I paid $20 for my favorite singer from Chorus to learn the song and everything. We got the backup arrangement. I got it all set. It's going to be fly. But again, now you come in looking a mess, right? Smelling like curdled milk, trying to talk to the cheer captain. It ain't going to work. Only if we would have won those games, and would that recruiting paradigm had been something that could have been successful. But that is the difference between a Mark Richt who was in the twilight of his career, where he really only had the bandwidth for one or the other, and Mario Cristobal at whatever age, who knows very clearly A, B, C, always be recruiting. You are not going to catch me slipping. I don't care. I mean, he famously sleeps like 3-4 hours a night and catches, maybe a couple cafecitos and, coladas and whatever to keep his caffeine intake. But like, you've heard so many recruits, yeah, Coach Cristobal, he's texted me and he's called me and like that, or, whatever, within the rules of recruiting. Don't get on here, whatever. But you know what I mean? He's in constant communication, himself personally and his staff. There is not a binary choice here, like there was with Mark Richt, where it was one or the other. No. We're doing this, and we're letting you know that you're the missing piece. Because if we get there, we need to sustain this. If we don't get there, Mark, that's because we need you. And when you come next year and the year after, while we are here developing with elite coaches at your position, you're the kind of player who will help us get over that hump. So we've already gotten there, but we need special playmakers like you to take us over the hump. It's a very different mentality and not a binary kind of situation.
So I'll be clear in saying I'm not proposing that that was the route to go. But if you did decide to go that route, you would think that you would sell that message or attempt to.
Yeah.
But the thing that can never be answered, unfortunately, is if they beat Pitt and they beat Clemson, regardless of what their communication was with these recruits, how many more of them would have decided to go to the U? We will never know.
Well, the thing is, if they beat Pitt and if they beat Clemson, now those text messages are not left on read. Those phone calls are not going unanswered. But as soon as we lost to Pitt, nah, All-American committed to Georgia, All-American committed to whomever. Yeah, no. Hey, what's going on? Just wishing you luck in the playoffs. And dang it, it still says red. He didn't even. Man, yeah, that was the immediate death of any and all of that. But hey, that was then, this is now, and we're going to go forward. So hopefully another big win this Saturday and keep the recruiting momentum, which is very palpable going.
Well, the two names that come to mind in addition to Mario Cristobal in regards to obsession with recruiting would be Kirby Smart was making the comment a number of times last year about we recruit all the time, never stop all the time. And I've heard some crazy stories about Urban Meyer winning national championships and pulling himself away like 10 minutes into the celebration to be like, I'm calling recruits, or we just won the Big Ten championship game. Oh, okay. Cheer for 30 seconds. And my assistant coaches are on the road. Go.
Bro, they've seen it. You've seen screenshots of the FaceTimes from the field. Like, if you're doing, like, from many, many coaches, if you're doing it right, those are the things that you do. Also, I just wanted to get out here the names DJ Pickett, obviously, in terms of somebody that Miami is going after and recruiting. Elijah Griffin, a top 10 player from Savannah Christian Prep, 6'5", 290 defensive lineman, and Dallas Wilson from Tampa Bay Tech. Those are three other current year names. The previous ones, also Calvin Russell from Miami Northwestern, who's a 2026 also. So Russell, Brady, and the Chaminade kid were the 26 kids, and then I just gave you a couple 25 names off the top of the list and off the top of my dome where, hey, I know that things are unsettled. I would still say Elijah Griffin probably going to Georgia at this point. Still, DJ Pickett is committed to LSU at this point. Still, Dallas Wilson is committed to Oregon at this point. But, it's recruiting is a fluid situation. Is very much more an art than a science. And I just want to throw out there that everybody's questioning the lowered efficacy of Oregon's offensive line this year. And I mean, hey, you take over a Cristobal team, offensive line is going to be great. And then, he and Mirabal are here. Miami's offensive line, one of the best in the country. And Oregon's, which I believe won the Moore Award for the best offensive line in the nation last year, or was a finalist, I believe, all of a sudden has fallen down a little bit. And they're saying, well, hey, we thought that Dylan Gabriel was going to have all this time and there was going to be all these running lanes and da-da-da-da. I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, Cristobal and Mirabal know what they're talking about. Maybe, just maybe, Cristobal was actually, had a plan to build this team and this program into something that could be a sustainable winner. And maybe, just maybe, you want to come to Miami instead of anywhere else.
Because at Oregon, certainly recruiting has not been the issue.
No, not at all.
Josh Connolly at left tackle, and the rest of the guys are stout up front in terms of their recruiting evaluation.
Josh Connolly, who, if you remember, was not on the board for Mario Cristobal when he was there, and only went there specifically because Mario Cristobal left, because oil and water, and the evaluation was, I would prefer someone else as my left tackle if I'm Mario Cristobal. So, and everybody was hyped to say that after Cristobal came to Miami. Oh, well, yeah, Josh Connolly said it himself. He was like, I wasn't looking at Oregon. I wasn't, like, straight up. So, hey, interesting. But as time has gone on, also a little interesting. Just saying.
Falconer TRX, as usual, leading us off. And my apologies, Falconer, for just now getting to you. But thank you so much for being here, as always. Super sticker from you. Thank you so much. And we've got Kenson just
That's hilarious.
Underwood.
Yeah, man. Like I said, Kenson went to Miramar when I taught there. He took my AP music theory class. He was a drum major in the band. Great kid. So yeah, and they all called me. It wasn't no Mr. Underwood. It was all my kids. Underwood. So yeah, man. Hey, good to see you, Kenson, man. Glad you're here, man.
We've got Falconer coming back with this one. Thank you so much for the super chat. Ball State is Parents Weekend. Last year it was Georgia Tech.
Okay. Correlation, not causation, I believe. But yeah, I guess you and the daughter and daughter's friend or whomever can enjoy the game all together as Miami wins by 5.5, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, 5.5 to 6 touchdowns, or 5 to 6 touchdowns. That's not good enough for me, Cam, because the spread's 35, and I got to make a call on this game. So you got to break it one way or the other, because my prediction record means much to me.
Oh, I mean, I got Miami to cover. So
okay,
yeah.
All right. There we've got Knox King 94. Thank you so much. Recruiting update. Some dumbass at Florida helped Miami take some of their recruits by bad placement.
I love it. And I know that they always have the recruits there in that little area, open air right behind the hedges in that one end zone, da da da. But yeah, I know that the recruiting department had some operational meetings after what had happened. And I mean, I don't necessarily think that you would see that kind of, I don't want to call it histrionics, but just like the celebration from the winning team, like from the opposing team if they win in the swamp, like Miami, like all the fans stayed in there, the team, the coaches, dapping everybody up. Like it was just like a party in Gainesville at that stadium for a moment. Even like when other teams go in there and win, I don't necessarily know that you have that. Also, I don't necessarily know that there's 100% or 97% crossover of both teams recruiting all of the players or the majority of the players who were there. But yeah, that was a hilarious and very welcome flub from the Florida football operations and recruiting staff. I can guarantee you that does not happen at the University of Miami. I know where the recruit section is over top of the opposing team tunnel. Excuse me, at Hard Rock Stadium. But again, it's over top, so they're not actually on the field level. And by the time the end of the game comes, they've already moved the recruits to a secondary area. So it would be a little bit different than that. But yeah, I appreciate the another layer of stupidity from the people in Alachua County. Makes me happy.